This next guy, I do believe, has the ability to possibly do that. Maybe year 2, year 3, if we're talking that
Mm.
future X receiver.
Yes, and real quick, yeah, I completely agree with that assessment of Worthy at the end. And I also want to know, so at the combine, he weighed in at 165, and I
Mhm.
think that was very much to try and break the 40 record. I think he plays more in the mid 170s, and then he's probably running like a 4.28, which is
Yeah.
still extremely fast. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to put that out there. Like, I don't think his playing weight is 165.
That's fair, yeah.
He did
Guys
that to try
cut
and
to run fast, especially at that position.
absolutely, yeah. We see that kind of combine gamesmanship all of the time. Let's stay with the Xavier category here, but move on to Xavier Legette, somebody who's really caught some more steam lately. And the AJ Brown comp, he really is just a baby AJ
He
Brown,
really
like in
is.
a lot of ways. And he's somebody who, again, when you talk about like seeing someone in person, just an impressive dude. We saw him at this at the Senior Bowl, and
Mhm.
he looks like a T1000. Like dude is just
Developed in
no
a lab,
yeah,
100%.
he's big, he's cut, and 6'1", 221 pounds, runs that 4.3 40, and dude just absolutely moves in a lot of ways that should not be possible according to the laws of physics, similar to
Yeah.
AJ Brown a little bit. And man, when you talk about the upside, Xavier Legette is somebody in that conversation where if he hits on the upside, given the raw tools and traits that he has, this is look out NFL, because just what do you do with a guy like this?
Yeah, I mean, he's impressive, as you said, top to bottom, film, in person, separator, explosive, visibly has juice on film, and even in person when he was banged up at the
Mhm.
Senior Bowl,
Yes.
he was still smoking guys. And we're not just talking straight line speed. He had some really nice, nuance to some of his routes. Something that I was like, oh, he's got that. That's
Yeah.
interesting to see because it's all you heard that he couldn't do.
Mhm.
But you just need to see it on a more consistent basis. Obviously, with his size, he's powerful and he has that yak ability. And I think that's why he's such a great fit for the Bills. I think he would be a great fit for the Bills offense
Mhm.
if we're talking whether when Diggs was here and now that he's not here. I do think he has enough skills to again be a big role player early on. Very good body language on routes underneath. We talked about that with McConkey and how important that is to Josh Allen. Shows the break to the quarterback, kind of changes his body language, saying, "Hey, this shoulder's further away, throw it to this shoulder so I can turn upfield to help with the yards after the catch," that type of stuff. And then that transition from, being a receiver, catching it, and now becoming a runner, that running back,
Mm.
there's no hitch in that game. That transition is there,
Mhm.
immediate. And I'm talking, it's right to third gear, and he just takes off. Um, Route running, it shows promise at times,
Mhm.
as we saw down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, but an area that he can obviously improve on.
Yeah, he needs to polish in route running and the stem work and just how to consistently win from a technical aspect. But again, similar to kind of what we spoke about a little bit with, Brian Thomas here, like you're betting on the physical tools and the traits. And one of my favorite aspects of his game is just how he can win downfield and how it's not just because of like, oh, pure speed and he's just running past dudes. Like he has the ability to just hang in midair. And
Floats, yes.
this catch is a great example. He has this one. There's one against Georgia. Like he just floats midair. Also, real quick, shout out to Spencer Rattler throwing this about 50 yards downfield off his back foot with a defensive tackle bearing down on him. Like this throw is ridiculous. But watch this end zone angle for Xavier Legette and watch him just find this ball and sky for it. Just hang time
Yeah,
as
it's
he
it's
gets into
beautiful.
the air. And again, for a dude 6'1", 220 plus, to have that ability to separate at the catch point and go up and get it. Like that ability, again, to dunk on dudes, to high point the football, to play big man football downfield and turn 50-50 balls into 80-20. It's just another aspect of this game that gets you super excited. And again, puts him into that AJ Brown comp and that type of skill set style.
Yeah, you saw that contested catch, the ability to play above the rim. Here's basically bracket coverage on Brown to the bottom of the screen, and watch him just go up and get it with his hands right there. Use his body to throw that guy by. He goes up against two defenders and, basically mosses them for a touchdown. And you're going to see that here, this time from the slot with Xavier Legette right here against Georgia across the face of the defensive back. And then again, just going up and getting the ball. Here it is from the end zone angle, and the quarterback once again extending the play, and then there's the high point right there. I
This
mean,
one's so stupid.
it's
This
like
one's
a
so
glitch in
dumb.
the matrix, bro. It's
Yeah.
literally like a glitch in the matrix. just floating up there and catching that ball down the field.
That's literally what I said. I retweeted this maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and Greg commented, and I forgot what he asked, but I said, "Yeah, like it's a glitch in the matrix." Or
Yeah,
maybe like
exactly.
it's just this is he's
It
I
looks unnatural. It doesn't
it
look real.
100%. And then even with when he goes up there, look how he still goes up and snatches the ball out of the air. Like he's still using his hands to like pluck it from the sky, and just man, like this was one that when I put this clip out, I rewound it like 3 times so people could truly just so stupid. And again, he's doing that against Georgia, like who are filled with talent at every single level on the field. So watching him stand out because of his athleticism and size and speed against a defense of that caliber is another feather in his cap. And again, this is an aspect of, man, like see ball, get ball because you're extremely fast, but also Josh Allen can throw it up and hang it up there, and you know that he can go up and get it and has the physicality to beat dudes with it.
Yeah, and with that size and strength and speed, I do think that, there are moments where he's physical at the line of scrimmage. You see AJ Brown right there. You see how he opens up the gate of that
Yes.
defensive back at the line of scrimmage. That's the type of size and
Mm,
strength that I do believe Xavier Legette does possess. And you see the run after catch ability with Brown too. I think that was, kind of sneaky trait and skill that he had coming out. Here's, Legette again. You talked about it earlier. This Georgia clip at the line of scrimmage. Watch the
yeah.
release here. Releases inside, throws that defender by as he man turns to Legette, and then gets outside, but then snaps a rod off after going vertical. And he's not done there. Now it's
No.
time to float. It's time to go up and get the ball. And he does it there. Again, check the level of competition that he was playing against. This dude, although he was a one-year type wonder after 5 years of playing at South Carolina, he can do these things against this type of competition. It's the consistency, being able to do that consistently that we need to see from him. But I do think he has the ability. We see flashes of winning at all levels and winning above the rim with his route running. It's all there, but getting it out of him consistently is the key.
And I think the Senior Bowl really, I think, went a long way for myself and, potentially you too as well. I don't want to speak for you, but, watching him be able to work in a more professional manner and having to win in different ways at the Senior Bowl. And like you said, like him pulling off some routes where we were like, oh,
Mhm.
look at that. And then to go along with clips like you see here, like look at him sky and get that football, and also the hand-eye coordination and the concentration because the DB undercuts it,
Yep.
almost gets his hand on it, and just man, like it's just that's hard to do against anybody, let alone Georgia, like let alone with regularity. Like you see him pull these clips off and these plays against high level of competition. And that's what, to your point, Eric, what you're trying to tap into consistently so you can take him from being, an Xavier Legette and turning him into an AJ Brown, who again, ironically, some of this conversation was also being had with AJ Brown coming out of Ole Miss, him
100%.
and Metcalf too, to a degree, where it was
Yes.
like, these guys look tremendous, but they don't have a lot of production. How polished are they? How polished can they be?
And
And
Brown, his story too was not just his size, but he was primarily a slot. So he's like, can he be an X? Can he be a boundary receiver?
yeah,
Xavier Legette, he was on the boundary 65% of the time last year, but they did move him around, as you saw. He was also in the slot. But it's these type of things like, can he be a boundary receiver? You see AJ Brown here, Anthony, get into the blind spot of that defensive back.
yep,
Like you see that because of the speed of Legette, you see him get into that blind spot. That corner gets turned around, loses Legette, and you see him snap that route off. And when he snaps it off, you see him, he comes to a halt. He comes to
yes.
a halt. There's no wasted steps. He's able to separate at the top of that route. He has a ton of separation because of it. You got to respect his speed deep. You can easily get into the blind spot of the defender, especially if they're playing this type of zone coverage, cover 3 type look. Get into the blind spot while that corner's in bail. Like it's going to be there, and it's there for the Bills offense a ton.
Yes, absolutely. Like, and seeing him win on this type of route and create that separation and run that corner off is exciting because it doesn't take him like 7 steps to be able to get out of his break because that athleticism and that size, I think, is also paired with a pretty good flexibility, especially in his lower body. Like he's yoked up, but he's not stiff. He's not rigid in his movement. Like you see that fluidity in his lower body. Again, he just needs to be taught how to consistently win in that manner, or even just potentially he might just need more reps, which has been part of the issue even at South Carolina. And I again, like watching AJ Brown do this, like this really is a legitimate, I
This
think,
is a good
spot
comp.
on comp. This is a
Yeah.
tremendous comp. And also like a legitimately realistic one. Like, he could be, if all things click, he could be AJ Brown. Like, that's what you are looking at. This isn't like, yeah, he has shades of, no, this is like spot on. Like, if he hits how he can, you are looking at a clone and a replica of AJ Brown in the NFL.
Yeah, bottom of the screen, you're running a crossing around mesh concept. You see him catch that underneath throw there, and then the
Oh,
strength and body control to run through, that tackle. That's the type of thing that he can do. And we showed him winning at all three levels. I just love this comp. It was really probably one of the easier ones, but it's exciting. I think he's a guy that, if we're talking wide receiver fits, I could see Joe Brady, Brandon Bean, and how this philosophy has changed into run after catch, into yards after catch, into being explosive and needing more explosive players and guys that can separate with speed, but also with strength. He's got a little bit of everything. And maybe he isn't, a premier receiver year one, but man, if he can get to anywhere near his ceiling, he could be better than AJ Brown. If he can get anywhere near his ceiling, he can be better than AJ Brown. He's got all the same tools, but he's got that breakaway speed to go with it. He could be a special player.
yeah, you just got to see how much you can coach him up and what
Right.
it takes to get to that ceiling. I wanted to share one quick play just because we've had creep up more into that conversation lately, because he fits, because of his size and frame with that X potential, one of the few guys in this class that really do has it from a true standpoint, and just the raw potential and size. Like, you shouldn't be able to have that athleticism, that ability to sky for the ball and move like that when you're 6'1", 220 plus, and you are just rocked up in a ton of ways. Extremely, extremely impressive movement from Xavier Legette, and someone who's been gaining steam with Bills Mafia.